Good morning students. Through this video we are going to discuss about industrial revolution. From this video we are going to know about the essential features of industrial revolution in 18th century in England and to know about favorable conditions prevailing in England for the industrial revolution and to know about invention that facilitated revolutions in textile production and steel industry quickening the process of industrialization in England. Now let's go to the lesson. Introduction. In the later half of the 18th century, major changes occurred in the method of production that changed the history of mankind. This profound transformation is described as the Industrial Revolution. Goods began to produced not by hand but by machines. Goods began to produced not by hand but by machines. This increased the volume of goods produced exponentially. The changes were not only economic but made a profound impact on society and politics. Society transformed from an agrarian and handicraft economy to an dominated by factory and machine productions. Starting in England, first it spread to other parts of the world. Although it is used earlier by French writers, but the term Industrial Revolution was popularized by the English economic historians that denote Britain's economic development from 1760 to 1840. Attributes of Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution began in England first because it had certain objective conditions. The main attributes of the Industrial Revolution were technological, socio-economic and cultural. First thing, use of new basic raw material and steel. Then use of new energy source, coal, electricity, petroleum. Then invention of new machines such as the spinning jenny and the power loom that increased the production with the minimum expending of human energy. Then emergence of a new organization known as the factory system, which entailed increased division of labor and specialization of work. Then development in transportation and communication, increasing application of science to industry. Then last point, the use of new technology. The many scientists invented new method of technologies. Then beginning of Industrial Revolution in England. The Industrial Revolution began in England first because it had certain objective conditions. There were England had abundant resources and possessed colonies, with India being the brightest jewel in the British crown. Access to coal, iron and raw cotton from the colonies. England possessed the required infrastructure for textiles developed by immigrant artisans from the Netherlands. Then encouragement of the Royal Society of England for scientific discoveries and inventions. Then political stability of England to bestow its full attention to industrial growth. Then invention of steam power. A steam engine is a heat engine that performs mechanical work using steam as its working fluid. A steam engine is a heat engine that performs mechanical work using steam as its working fluid. The steam engine uses the force produced by steam pressure to push a piston back and forth inside a cylinder. The steam engine uses the force produced by steam pressure to push a piston back and forth inside a cylinder. This pushing force is transformed by a connecting rod and flywheel into rotational force for work. Into rotational force for work. The term steam engine is generally applied only to reciprocating engine as just described, not to the steam turbine. Although steam driven devices were known as early as the Aleopile in the 1st century AD. Aleopile in the 1st century AD, with a few others uses recorded in the 16th and 17th century. Thomas Savery is considered the inventor of the first commercially used steam powered device, a steam pump that used steam pressure operating directly on the water. The first commercially successful engine that could transmit continuous power to a machine was developed in 1712 by Thomas Newcomen. James Watt made a critical improvement by removing spent steam to a separate vessel for the condensation, greatly improving the amount of work obtained per unit of fuel consumed. James Watt made a critical improvement by removing spent steam to a separate vessel for condensation, greatly improving the amount of work obtained per unit of fuel consumed. By the 19th century, stationary steam engines powered the factories of the industrial revolutions. Steam engines replaced sail for ships, and steam locomotives operated on the railways. Then, development in textiles. Before the Industrial Revolution, the spinning and weaving of cloth were undertaken for domestic and local consumption. Before the Industrial Revolution, the spinning and weaving of cloth were undertaken for domestic and local consumption. It was done at home or in a small hired place. The production also took place on a cottage scale. The manually operated spinning wheel required 4 to 8 spinners to supply yarn to one handloom weaver. The manually operated spinning wheel required 4 to 8 spinners to supply yarn to one handloom weaver. In 1733, John Kay invented the flying shuttle, which when operated by hand increased the speed of the weaving of cloth. In 1764, James Hargreaves invented the spinning jenny. This machine spun 8 threads at one and the same time. 2 years later, Richard Arkwright invented the water frame. This spinning frame used water power in the place of manpower. The water frame was too big to be run at home. Thus was born the factory. In 1779, Samuel Crompton invented his spinning mule, which included a combination of both the spinning jenny and the water frame. It spun hundreds of threads simultaneously and produced 8 fine and coarse threads. Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in 1793, removing the seed from the cotton. Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin in 1793, removing the seed from the cotton. Then iron and steel. Before about 1860, steel was an expensive product made in small quantities and used mostly for swords, tools and cutlery. All large metal structures were made of wrought or cast iron. Steelmaking was centered in Sheffield and Middlesbrough, Britain, which supplied the European and American markets. The introduction of cheap steel was due to the Bessemer and the open hearth process, two technological advances made in England. In the Bessemer process, molten pig iron is converted to steel by blowing air through it after it was removed from the furnace. The air blast burned the carbon and silicon out of the pig iron, releasing heat and causing the temperature of the molten metal to rise. Henry Bessemer demonstrated the process in 1856 and had a successful operation going by 1864. Britain led the world's industrial revolution with its early commitment to coal mining, steam power, textile mills, machinery, railways and shipbuilding. Britain's demand for the iron and steel, combined with ample capital and energetic entrepreneurs, made it the world leader in the first half of the 19th century. Steel has a vital role during the Industrial Revolution after 1890. The Bessemer process was gradually supplanted by open hearth steelmaking, and by the middle of the 20th century was no longer in use. The open hearth process originated in the 1860 in Germany and France. The open hearth process originated in the 18th century in Germany and France. The usual open hearth process used pig iron ore and scrap and became known as the Siemens-Martin process. The usual open hearth process used pig iron ore and scrap and became known as the Siemens-Martin process. Its process allowed closer control over the composition of the steel. Also, a substantial quantity of scrap could be included in the charge. The Krugerrable process remained important for making high quality alloy steel into the 20th century. By 1900, the electric arc furnace was adapted to steel making, and by the 1920s, the falling cost of electricity allowed it to largely supplant the crucible process for specialty steels. In 1875, Britain accounted for 47% of world production of pig iron, and third of which came from the Middlesbrough area, and almost 40% of steel. 40% of British output was exported to the US, which was rapidly building its rail and industrial infrastructure. 2 decades later, in 1896, the British share of the world production had plunged to 29% for pig iron and 22.5% for steel, and little was sent to the US. The US was now the world leader, and Germany was catching up to Britain. Britain had lost its American market and was losing its role elsewhere. Indeed, American products were now underselling British steel in Britain. Then, mining. Coal was needed in vast quantities for the Industrial Revolution. For centuries, people in Britain had made do with charcoal if they needed a cheap and easy way to acquire fuel. What industry that existed before 1700 used coal, but it came from coal mines that were near to the surface, and the coal was relatively easy to get to. The Industrial Revolution changed all of this. Before the 18th century, Britain and the rest of Europe had produced coal, but only in a limited quantity. Coal pits were small and half were open cast mines. Their market was just the local area, and their businesses were localized, usually just the sideline of a largest estate. Drowning and suffocation were also very real problems. During the period of the Industrial Revolution, as demand for coal soared thanks to iron and steam as the technology to produce coal improved and the ability to move to it increased, coal experienced a massive escalation. From 1700 to 1750, production increased by 50%. From 1700 to 1750, production increased by 50% and nearly another 100% by 1800. During the later years of the first revolution, a steam power really took a firm grip. This rate of increase soared to 500% by 1850. As miners used oil lamps in the mine, the risk of explosion was high, leading to death of miners. This was reduced by the invention of a safety lamp by Sir Humphrey Davy in 1815. Then transportation and communication. General Ward, George Metcalfe, Thomas Telford and John Macadam developed better roads with firm foundations, drainage and a smooth surface. John Macadam Road, called Macadam's Road. Ever since the 17th century, turnpike trusts were set up to improve main roads for which a toll was charged. Turnpike trusts were set up to improve main roads for which a toll was charged. This predates the standard period of the Industrial Revolution. In the early 1800s, investment in Britain's roads was more than £3 million a year. In the early 1800s, investment in Britain's roads was more than £3 million a year. Between 1803 and 1821, Thomas Telford alone built 1,000 miles of road, including 1,000 bridges. His greatest achievement was the London Holyhead Road. However, others had already been building new roads over the past several hundred years. Then, canal transport. Some people argue that the first modern canal was the Shankill Brook navigation. It was used to transport coal, which links directly to the Industrial Revolution. Others say it was the Bridgewater Canal, built by the Duke of Bridgewater in 1761. About £20 million was invested in canal building between 1755 and 1835. There was canal mania in the 1790s, and famous canal builders include James Brindley and Thomas Telford. The fact that more money was now spent on canals could be seen as a natural development as the country gets richer and trade is more necessary. By 1850, the canal network covered 4,000 miles. By 1850, the canal network covered 4,000 miles. However, canals had existed long before this period. The Exeter Canal had been built way back in 1566. It is a viewpoint of some that the developments made during the Industrial Revolution were no different to those made beforehand. Then, railway transport. The first railway was the Stockton and Darlington Railway. George Stephenson built the Racket in 1829. Significant engineering achievements included the London Underground and the Forth Bridge. There was a railway mania in the 1840s. More than £3 billion was spent building the railways between 1845 and 1900. In 1870, 423 million passengers travelled on 16,000 miles of line. The railways date back to 6th century BC in Corinth, Greece. They were man or animal driven. In the 16th century, Germany had horse-powered rail transport. Modern rail transport commenced with the British development of the steam locomotive in the early 19th century. The first railway line in England was opened between Stockton and Darlington in 1825. The first railway line in England was opened between Stockton and Darlington in 1825. In the next 40 years, 15,000 miles of railway network was completed. Robert Fulton of the US invented the steamboat called Clermont in 1807 that sailed from New York to Albany, covering 150 miles. After a few years, steamboats carrying cargo shuttle on the road, rivers and coastlines. By 1830, the 40 miles between Manchester and Liverpool could be covered in an hour and a half. Then, effects of Industrial Revolution in England. Industrial Revolution led to the expansion of trade, the production of more food, emergence of factory workers as a new class, the rise and growth of cities resulting in rapid urbanization and organized working class movements seeking voting rights and regulation of their service conditions brought about a new dynamics in politics. First one, impact on environment and living conditions. The use of chemicals and fossil fuels that replaced wind, water and firewood resulted in increased air and water pollution. The Industrial Revolution marked a major turning point. The Industrial Revolution marked a major turning point in Earth's ecology and humans' relationship with the environment. The Industrial Revolution helped create opportunities for employment for all members of the family. However, the life for the laboring class was miserable. Children was employed in textile mills because they worked for lower wages. Here, miserable means koduramaga, chitravadai. In 1842, the British Parliament published a report about the state of coal mining, the Mines Report. Safety was very poor in early industrial factories and mines. The injuries from machinery would vary from mild burns, arm and leg injuries, to whole fingers to be cut off or amputation of limbs and even death. Then, urbanization. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, England became the workshop of the world. There was, however, a general decline in agriculture. This resulted in the flow of population from village to industrial towns. Population growth, migration, and urbanization were the major social changes taking place during this period. In pre-industrial society, over 80% of the people lived in rural areas. Manchester's cool climate was ideal for textile production. Further, it was situated close to the port of Liverpool and the coal fields of Lancashire. Manchester became the textile capital of the world. Manchester became the textile capital of the world, drawing huge number of migrants to the city. In 1771, Manchester was a sleepy town of 22,000 people. Over the next 50 years, its population exploded, land reached up to 1,80,000 people. Then, socio-economic consequences. While the peasants were pauperized and the working class suffered, the middle class became wealthy by investing capital in trade and industry. The middle class became wealthy by investing capital in trade and industry. The governments of the day were influenced by them. All legislations safeguarded their interests. Laborers were not permitted to form trade unions. It was under these circumstances the socialism as a new ideology was born in Europe. It was under these circumstances that socialism as a new ideology was born in Europe. Karl Marx advocated scientific socialism for the protection of the working class from the exploitative policies of the capitalist class. Karl Marx advocated scientific socialism for the protection of the working class from the exploitative policies of the capitalist class. By the later half of the 19th century, there were strong working class movements all over Western Europe which demanded economic as well as political rights. Thank you, students. Thank you for watching the video.